Hello everyone, my name is Keely. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you've been here before, and welcome to another reading vlog. I am so excited for this vlog. I've been looking forward to it for a few weeks now, and that is a spinner wheel chooses my TBR. It is my spring break currently, so I am hoping to read a lot of books this week and knock off some books from my physical TBR. It is also realmathon, so I'm definitely hoping to read a lot for the Realm of Blood and get some points for my team, or attack other realms. Now, if you have no idea what I'm talking about with realmathon, I will leave it all linked down below. It is a readathon that Covers with Cassidy has put on, and it's so much fun. I really love it. So before I do my first spin, some little background information. I recently put in all of my physical TBR books onto a spinner wheel, except for like sequels or third or fourth books in series and so on. If it was a series, I only put the first book on the spinner wheel because I didn't want it to land on the sequel and then have to read the first book and so on. So I just put first books in series. There is also some nonfiction on here, so I'm really hoping that we do not land on nonfiction, at least for the first spin. I want something really fun and something quick and fast-paced for the first one. I feel like I'm going to read a lot doing this because I'm just going to be so excited to spin each time that I'm going to read the book quickly so I can spin again. But I guess it is time for the first spin. Okay, here is my spinner wheel. She is pink, she is cute. Now let's give her a spin. I honestly don't know what I want her to land on. Like, I don't know, but I'm really nervous. Okay, she's done. What's gonna be? I'm so scared. Oh, okay. This is The Stranded. Interesting. Let me go grab it. Alright, so for the first spin, I got The Stranded by Sarah Daniels, and I'm really excited to read this one because I believe that it's like a dystopian book set on a cruise ship. That sounds amazing. So it's called Arcadia, and it was once a luxurious cruise ship, but for 40 years, they've been stranded on this cruise ship. Like, that sounds amazing. I cannot wait to read this one, so of course, as I'm reading it, I will update you along the way. I'm now 200 pages into The Stranded. I've been doing reading sprints by myself back here, and I think Cassidy has reading sprints tonight on her channel, so I'll hopefully be joining because I've been reading a lot of this. It is like 440 pages, so it is a bigger book for me. Anything above 400 pages I consider a big book for me, but I'm really enjoying this. So like I said before, this is a dystopian, it is futuristic, there's an isolated setting because they're on a cruise ship, and there is also talk of a virus. So decades and decades ago in Europe, there was this big war, and it was like, what is that called when they like set out viruses against people? So they released like this virus, and so people went onto cruise ships to get away. But now nobody is let off the cruise ship. It's been 40 years and nobody can get off the cruise ship because they're really scared that these people are going to give the virus to anyone else. However, nobody has been tested positive for the virus in like decades. So there's something mysterious going on as to why they're not allowed off of this cruise ship. So that's like the gist of the virus part. It's really not a huge part in this. That is just the background story of why they're on this cruise ship. But we do follow 3 different point of views, and I love multi-POV stories. So the first girl we follow in here is Esther, and she is 16 and she is training to be a medic. And if she gets into med school, she gets to leave the cruise ship and go into a med school on land. So every so often a few people get to leave, but hardly anybody gets to leave. So she is really hoping to graduate, get into med school so she can leave. And then we also follow Nick. Now, Nick is a part of the rebellion, and something happens to Nick where he gets shot, and of course, Esther gets kidnapped because she's a med school student, and she has to save Nick's life. The third point of view we follow is Hadley. Now, from what I understand, Hadley is like the bad guy on this cruise ship. He is kind of in charge of security and everything, and he's almost like a dictator on the ship because his laws are insane. At this point, he is creating like new laws every day. Everybody is under heavy surveillance. One of the laws he came up with is you cannot read in public anymore. And so of course, this is a rebellion story too. It's dystopian, so there's always rebellions. And like I said, Nick is part of the rebellion. So we're getting to see that side of it. And then we're also getting to see the side of Esther trying to like come to terms with things are kind of bad here. And she's on a one-track mind because her and her boyfriend want to get into this med school and get on land, but now she's discovering this hidden world that's in the cruise ship with them, and that she might have to fight against the states that she has been committed to her whole life. So I am really, really enjoying this. We also get to see like 2 different relationships. At first I thought it was gonna be like Esther and Nick in a relationship, but no. Nick is in a relationship with someone, and then Esther's in a relationship with someone. So I love that we get to see like 2 different love stories there, and I honestly am enjoying both of them. I also like to see the side of like the med school stuff and how Esther is constantly studying and she's constantly trying to be the best and putting all this pressure on herself while literally the world is falling apart. And then also Nick, even though he's a part of the rebellion, just like in most dystopian stories, the rebellion also isn't the best place to be. So really enjoying this. It's really, really fascinating, and I accidentally fell asleep earlier and took a little nappy nap, and I had a dream about this book. So in my case, if I ever dream about a book, that's how I know it's a good book. But yeah, I'm loving the isolated setting too of the cruise ship, and since they have been on this same ship for like 40 years, a lot of it is falling apart. It's kind of gross and moldy and soggy in places. It's really rusted, which is really, really fascinating. I also love hearing the background stories of how each family got to be on this cruise ship, because obviously families have been here for 40 years. Esther is 16, so she has only known the cruise ship. So I like to hear about like her grandparents and how they originally came on the ship. It's just really fascinating, and I really like how this is done. Dystopian is one of my favorite genres of all time, and so anytime I get to ingest a new dystopian story, it's really, really cool. I also have like this little thing that came with the book when I got it, because this is actually an art copy, and it has all the like the little taglines on it for what the book is about, and it says dystopian, rebellion, 3 point of views, drones, cruise ship, apocalyptic war. And like all of those things, yes please, I'm excited. And I'm really excited because obviously I did not read this arc when it was supposed to come out, so I've had it on my shelves for almost 2 years now, and it's one of those that I've always wanted to read and just never reached for whatever reason. So I love that Realmathon is helping me pick up books. But for now, I am going to continue sprinting by myself, and then Cassidy's sprints I think start in like 15 minutes. So I'm gonna hop on those, and we'll see how far I get into this today. For those of you who watched my last Realmathon vlog, Reading Red Books, and I told you I got a stain on my Judaism Academy sweatshirt the first time I wore it, the stain is gone. Thank you, Dawn Dish Soap, not sponsored. But anyway, I just finished The Stranded, and oh my gosh, I am obsessed with this book. Now, like I said before, this is dystopian, and so a lot of people believe that dystopians all kind of feel the same at the end of the day. To me, I don't care. I will read any dystopian. But I feel like this was such a unique dystopian story, and it really did something completely different in the genre for a few reasons. The main one, the isolated setting. A lot of dystopians are like, you know, all over the country. This one was completely on a cruise ship, and so I just feel like it raised the intensity because no matter how many times they escaped, the bad guys were still on the ship with them. So it just made it all the more suspenseful. Another reason this is unique from all dystopians is we actually get the point of view of the bad guy of the story, and so we get a direct insight into what he's thinking, and it makes you root for the good guys even more. I really loved the point of views that we got in here. Nick and Esther were really interesting characters, and let me tell you, stab in the heart, this book really, really goes there, and it just makes you feel all the emotions. And there are so many things that happen in here, especially in the second half, where you're just like, did that, like, that just really happened? The author just really did that to us. So I know there's a sequel to this, and I really want to read it. I'm a little nervous because the series changed publishers, and so I'm curious to see what it's like, because I love this cover, but the new covers that are current with the new publisher don't really like. But I hope it doesn't change the story and then how everything goes like in this whole series because of the publisher change, but I'm still interested in continuing. So I am giving this one 5 stars. I just love dystopian, and I love anytime I can read something that feels new and fresh and innovative, and this was definitely that. And I really haven't heard anyone read this or talk about it, so I definitely recommend it if you are looking for a really great dystopian. And this one's also a little bit longer than a lot of the dystopians, but I still flew through it. I read this in like a day. and it's 439 pages, so I loved it a whole lot, and I got really good points for it for realmathon. I did decreasing points, so I attacked another realm, and I can't remember what all I got, but I got like isolated setting, multiple point of view, spinner wheel chooses my book, all of that stuff, and so I got a lot of points for this. I'm really excited. So now I need to spin for my next read, and I'm so excited for it. Let me go grab my phone so we can get the spinner wheel. All right, I've got my wheel. I'm really hoping for something that's not fantasy and not nonfiction. Something preferably like under 400 pages. We'll see. Maybe a romance? I don't know. Okay, here we go. I'm so scared. What's it gonna be? You're gonna see before I can, because I can't see that far. Oh my gosh, what is it? Heart of Iron. Okay, this, oh my gosh, let me go get it. Okay, so definitely not under 400 pages. In fact, it's longer than The Stranded, and it's like 467 pages. And that is Heart of Iron by Ashley Poston. Oh my gosh. Okay, first of all, if you don't know me, Ashley Poston is my heart and soul. And this, I believe, is her sci-fi book, which I'm kind of scared of, because I literally said I don't want fantasy, and I know sci-fi is different, but still, I wanted something more contemporary. But we'll see. And it's long, but you know what? It's spring break, so I can pick up the long books if I want to. Also, look at the beautiful sprayed edges. But I really don't know anything about this. It just says outcast, rogue, orphan, rebel. So another like rebellion story. Is this a theme for the week? I don't know, but hopefully the wheel is good for me again and I get another 5-star, especially because I have given every Ashley Poston novel a 5-star. And I know this is completely different than her romance, but I have also read her young adult books and given those 5 stars. So maybe this one will be as well. I'm just kind of scared because it's a little long, but maybe I'll fly through it. It looks like it's short chapters because it looks like it's multi-POV again. And I love multi-POV stories, and it gets you good points for realmathon. So I'm going to edit my video that should go up tomorrow, which is the Reading Red Books vlog. And then after I edit that and upload it, I'm going to start Heart of Iron. Good morning, good morning. It is now Tuesday morning. It is about 8:30, and I need to update you on the progress I made in Heart of Iron yesterday. So I actually read 50% of this book, so I am at 234 pages in. I really didn't think that I would read that much, considering I also read over 100-something pages in The Stranded, but this is one of those books that's super easy to read. It's very easy to understand, and you don't have to think a lot while reading it, so you just go page after page after page. There's also 4 point of views in this story, which is a lot, but I love multi-POVs, and it doesn't matter how many there are. I just love stories like that. But if you don't like multi-point of view stories, you might not like this, but it makes it really fascinating to read because you're getting the insight of so many different characters. So let me tell you what this book is about. So one of the point of views we follow is a girl named Anna, and all Anna knows about her life is that when she was really young, she was found kind of floating through space with an android, and this captain of a ship rescued her and her android, and she grew up with them. So that's like the only life she knows. Now this android is her best friend. They are very, very close, and she also questionably might be in love with this robot. Don't ask me. I really don't know. I don't know how that's going to pan out, but she might be in love with him. But the unfortunate thing is her robot DO9 is starting to glitch and might die out pretty soon. So she is looking for the coordinates of this old lost ship that she thinks will hold the answers to saving DO9. Now, on the other side of things, we also follow a boy named Rob. Now, Rob is a part of this very, very rich, famous family who are going to be like the next emperors, and he is also looking for the coordinates of that same ship because he thinks that years and years ago, during the plague attack, his dad actually escaped on that ship. So, of course, Anna and Rob are kind of fighting over these coordinates, and they might have to work together so they can both find this ship. Now, another point of view we follow is Jax. Now, Jax is actually Anna's pilot, and he's actually a different kind of species altogether, and his species is really cool because he can't lie. And then we get the point of view of DO9, which is the android. Now, I'm really curious how things are going to play out because Anna is like unhealthily attached to this robot, and I swear she's in love with him. I just don't understand that part, but shout out to Ashley Poston for always doing a little kind of strange relationship dynamic here. We love to see it. Also, this book is actually signed by Ashley Poston, which I completely forgot about. The silver Sharpie, I love it. But it's really cute too because Rob and Jax are kind of developing this relationship, and they're completely like different species. They're both like humans. It's not as weird as like the robot thing, but they both have different lives, different languages. It's really cool. This reminds me so much of the Lunar Chronicles. Now the Lunar Chronicles is like my favorite series of all time, so this is not living up to that, but I am still really enjoying it. I don't think it's going to be 5 stars, which is shocking for Ashley Poston, but I am still really enjoying it. Like I said, I am not as connected to the characters as I would be in the Lunar Chronicles, but I don't have any problems with any of them. I'm just really right now focused on how this relationship is going to work out with this android, but we will see. I am flying through this, so hopefully I can finish it today. I should be able to, but I do have a little bit of plans, not exciting plans, well, exciting for me. I'm going to my first physical therapy appointment, which I'm excited about because I am ready to get this injury taken care of. If you don't know, I'm a runner. I'm a marathon runner, half marathon, all of that. I went from running 4 to 5 days a week to I haven't been able to run in 6 weeks because my leg has been in almost constant pain. And so a few weeks ago I finally went to the doctor, and now I'm finally getting an appointment to the physical therapist, and so I'm excited. So hopefully I can get things fixed and get back to running because my anxiety has been insane without running. If you work out regularly and you do it for your mental health, then you know if you can't do it, it's bothersome, let me tell you. But I'm excited to have this physical therapy appointment, especially because the doctor is somebody that I know and I feel comfortable with already. So I will be going there at, I'll probably leave my house at like around 10:30. So I have a little under 2 hours to continue reading Heart of Iron. So hopefully I can make some good progress before I leave. And then of course, when I finish, I will update you. All right, it is now about 4 p.m. and I just finished Heart of Iron and I enjoyed it, but I will say, the more I read, the more it was so much like the Lunar Chronicles. Like even some of the character names were the same, some of the plot points were the exact same. And so of course I enjoyed this because I love the Lunar Chronicles, but if you've read the Lunar Chronicles, you might read this and be like, that's kind of suspicious. But I still enjoyed it. I will say I am not as attached to these characters and their relationships as I am to the characters in the Lunar Chronicles, because I would die for them. These ones I'm just like, okay, I like you, but I wouldn't die for you, you know? I'm interested in reading the sequel. I believe it's only a duology, but the writing in here, once again, is amazing. Ashley Poston is awesome, and I just wanted to keep on reading this. I mean, it's 467 pages, and I read it in, like, the course of 24 hours, so that's really good. And the found family aspect in this book was really, really great. My heart was really warmed by some of the family aspects in this, and they're all complete, like, different people, found family. It's awesome. It's great. And like I said, the characters were fun. I just wouldn't ride or die for them, but it could happen in the second book. I could definitely see it going that way, because right now my heart is in pain from the way that this ended. So I'm definitely curious about how the sequel is going to go, especially if it's only a duology. I love that. Duologies are so much fun. So I'm giving this one 4 stars, which is my first Ashley Poston novel that's not a 5-star, but I'm totally okay with that because it was also a lot of fun to read a different genre from her. So I would still recommend this one if you are into like young adult sci-fi, but just be warned, if you read the Lunar Chronicles, it's very, very, very similar, especially in certain aspects that I can't reveal because it would be a spoiler for both series. But I'm excited that I finished this, got it off my TBR, and now it is time for my favorite part, which is spinning for another book. Okay, this time I really want a standalone. I've started 2 series. I need a standalone. That sounds really annoying. Okay, what am I gonna get? Oh. Okay. Okay, a standalone. Oh my gosh, Arsenic and Adobo. Let me go grab it. Okay, so the spinning wheel chose Arsenic and Adobo by Mia P. Manansala, and this is perfect. This is exactly what I wanted because it is a standalone, I think. Actually, it might not be a standalone, but it is like a cozy mystery and it's just under 300 pages, so this is perfect. A short book, possibly a standalone. There might actually be a companion to this. I'll have to look that up and I'll definitely let you know. But either way, I'm very excited to read this. This is exactly what I wanted, so I'm looking forward to it. Although, I'm not sure if I'm into cozy mysteries or not. I guess we'll see how I feel about this one. But as far as an update on physical therapy, it went really well. It's still going to be a few weeks before I can run again, but I at least found out the problem, got exercises to help it. I also did some dry needling, which was interesting, but I am excited to kind of be on the path back to recovery. and hopefully get back to running soon. But I am going to go watch some TV for a little bit before I start picking up another book. I'm probably going to watch People Magazine Investigates, which is on Investigation Discovery. It's a true crime show, and it's really well done. It's really interesting. But maybe in between that, in between episodes, I will also start picking this up. But you probably won't see me until tomorrow, and hopefully this is a quick read. I started reading Arsenic and Adobo this morning, and I'm already 150 pages in, and I was so wrong. This is not a standalone. This series has 5 books in it right now. But I'm having a great time, so I can definitely see myself flying through the series. But let me tell you what this one is about first. So we follow this 25-year-old named Lila, and she has moved back home to this small town to help her aunt and her grandmother with their Filipino restaurant. When one day, her ex-boyfriend comes in, and he is actually a food critic, and he just goes around criticizing all of the restaurants in this town, and he's eating at a restaurant and giving her a hard time when he dies. Like, he just passes out, and he just dies. So now the investigation is heading towards murder, and somebody is trying to frame Lila. So she also has like 3 godmothers, and they are like so nosy and gossipy, and right now they are all trying to do their own investigation because clearly someone's trying to frame Lila, and so she's going around trying to interview different people and figure out what's going on so she doesn't go to prison. So this one is really, really fun. There is so much food talk in this book, and if you know me, I love food in books, especially food description, because not only do we get Filipino food, we've gotten like diner food, Mexican food, we're about to get some Japanese food, so we get like all sorts of things, and it's not just cooking, there's also some baking in here, which is like my favorite thing, and there's actually recipes at the back, and I'm really curious if I can try to make some, because some of the descriptions I'm just like, yes, I need that right now, although I can't eat most foods, but still, it sounds delicious. I'm really enjoying the characters. I wasn't sure how I would feel about the nosy godmothers, but I really like them, and they're actually called the calendar ladies because their names are April, May, and June. I just love that. But the descriptions in here, the characters, and we're meeting so many different people, and I just really love it. And getting to see the different Filipino language, and I have seen some Korean language in here. There's some Spanish in here, and I'm just a sucker for languages, so I love seeing that in this book as well. But so far, it's really interesting, and I'm so curious what the other books in the series will be like. Like, are they gonna follow the same characters? Are there going to be just so many crimes in this town? What's it going to be like? But so far, so good. Like I said, I am halfway through. It's like 11 a.m., so I should definitely finish this today, and I'm excited. I also realized I've had every genre so far in this video. However, they've all been a part of a series, so I really need a standalone on the next spin. I literally just finished Arsenic and Adobo. It's about 3 p.m., and I had so much fun reading this book. I think I said at the beginning I wasn't sure if I was into cozy mysteries, but after reading this, I am looking forward to reading more. I do really like Finlay Donovan, and this book gave me the same feelings that Finlay Donovan gave me, so I am so excited to continue. However, one thing that this book did better than Finlay Donovan was the family aspect. It was so chaotic in all of the best ways, and I absolutely loved every character that we met. I will say, the mystery, I guessed who did it, but that doesn't bother me if I'm able to guess a mystery. There was a reveal that I did not expect, so that got me there. But my favorite part of this entire book was all of the food that we saw, all of the baking, and from so many different cultures and countries. I just love that so much. All of the descriptions, I just felt like I was in those restaurants. But I had so much fun with this. I can't wait to see more of the best friend dynamic develop as well. Also, I said her name was Lila earlier, and that's what everyone calls her, except her family calls her Lila, which is the correct pronunciation, but she just grew up having everyone call her Lila because it was easier for everyone. So her name's actually Lila. So I can't wait to see more from her because I actually really did like her. And I also think there might be a love triangle developing in this series as well. So I give this one 4 stars. It was so much fun, and all of the covers are really cute and the titles are really catchy, so I cannot wait to continue. But now it is time to spin again. Okay, of course, like I said, I would love a standalone, but I just don't think I'm gonna get that lucky. I just have a feeling it's gonna be like a chunky fantasy. I'm so scared. What is it? What is it? Okay. It is a chunky fantasy, but it's middle grade, so that might work in my favor. So the spinner wheel told me to read Keeper of the Lost Cities by Shannon Messenger. This is a chunky fantasy, but like I said, this is middle grade, so it should really fly by, and I love middle grade fantasy, so I'm totally okay with that. However, I am starting so many series in this vlog. Every book has been the start of a series, and this is just not good for me. But I'm excited to start this because I have had it on my shelves once again for a very long time, and I have the second book as well, so if I'm loving this, maybe at some point soon I can continue. But I really wanted to stand alone. How many pages is this? Yeah, almost 500 pages. Awesome, wonderful. So like I said, it's only 3 p.m. right now, so I probably will start this later. I'm probably gonna watch some TV before I start just to give a little palate cleanser in between books. Tomorrow, I'm not gonna get to read the whole day. We have a track meet at like 2 p.m., so I'll get to read in the morning, but I won't get the whole day to read. So this one might actually take me longer to read. Right now, I have been finishing a book a day on spring break, but I don't think that's gonna happen, especially because this is chunky and I have plans tomorrow. But we'll see how far I get into it today. I'm hoping I love it. I have heard really, really great things about this. So yesterday I started Keeper of the Lost Cities, and I actually read 100 pages. It is now Thursday, and I've read quite a bit more, and I'm on page 244, which is halfway through this book. And oh my gosh, let me just tell you what it's about first. So we follow this little girl, Sophie, and she's 12 years old, and she has been able to read minds since she was 5 years old. Now nobody knows this because she understands that nobody else can do this until one day she's on a school trip, and this boy comes up to her, and he can also read minds, and he tells her, "You're not human, you are an elf." So she has to go to this elf world, leave her life behind, and figure out who she is, why she grew up with humans, and why she is so powerful when nobody else has the powers that she does. And she is also trying to uncover who she is and discover all of her abilities by going to an elf school. So this one is just so cute and wholesome. I love Sophie so much, and all of the characters are so fascinating. But learning about the elves and their abilities and the world that they live in, I love it. I am obsessed with it. I really haven't read any stories with elves before, and elves have such a special place in my heart because the first love of my life ever was Legolas, and so I have loved elves like my whole life. And so getting to read about these is so great because the people she's also living with, they are really into saving and protecting animals. So we get to see a bunch of extinct animals, and we get to see animals that in our world are much different than how they know them. And each elf has a different ability, and so it's so much fun learning about the different abilities there, and then the way they travel, the way their world works is just so fascinating, and I love it. And of course, I am a sucker for a school setting and all of the classes that she goes to, and just learning about this world as Sophie is also learning about it, and then watching her try to navigate it and understand, okay, there's this secret about Sophie, and she is pretty powerful, but why? Like, nobody understands why. Even the ancients and the elders are still just so confused about this little girl, and why she was also raised with humans, who her family is, and all of that. I cannot wait to see. I am so looking forward to finding out more of this adventure. Like I said, I'm halfway through, so I just know that the second half, we're gonna get into some adventure. The school is also so much fun, and I love seeing the different things that they go through and all of the different kids, because you still do have your bullies and your popular kids and all of that, but I'm just having so much fun with this. I can completely understand why people are obsessed with it. Like I said, I am about to go to a track meet. I'm leaving in like less than an hour. It's like 11:45 right now, and so I will leave in a little bit, and then the rest of the day I will be at the track meet. So unfortunately I will probably not be reading any more of this today, but I know that if I could stay home I would probably fly through it. But hopefully tomorrow I will be finishing this up because I am loving it and I want to know what's gonna happen. And I do have the sequel, so I obviously won't pick it up for this video unless I spend for it, but I want to read it as soon as I can, so maybe getting to that one in the near future. But I'm having so much fun. My reading through this video has been fantastic so far, and I am so pleased with it because I am getting so many backlist books off my shelves, and they're actually so good. So like, my taste in books is amazing. But yes, I'm going to go eat lunch before I leave, and then track meet for the rest of the day. It's gonna be so hot today. It's like almost 90 degrees, and the town the track meets in is close to the coast, so it's so hot and humid and windy, which is all of my least favorite things. But I love track, so it's a worthy sacrifice. But I guess I will just see you tomorrow then. I love this. I love this book so much. So I just spent my morning reading the entire second half of this book, and I'm giving it 5 stars. I love this book so much. Okay, this seriously might be in competition for my favorite middle grade book of all time. I loved it that much. It gave me all the same feelings that I had when I read Harry Potter for the very first time when I was like 13. The found family aspect in here is amazing. It's one of my favorite found families I have ever read from, and it is just so heartwarming and wonderful, and I actually teared up at several parts of the story because of how much I was feeling about these characters and about what was going on. Sophie, fantastic character. I love her, and I just cannot wait to see as she grows through the rest of the series and as she is further developing her abilities, because she is so powerful and strong, and I just love her. Her friendships in here are also so much fun. She has so many different friends, and they're all so different and unique, and I just loved being in this world so much, and it truly felt like nothing I've ever read before. Like, I felt like I was in a completely new place, and it felt completely unique and on its own. I loved following the elves and the different abilities, because there are so many different and unique abilities, and they're all so fascinating, and I just want to learn more. I want to read history books about this world. The school setting was so great, so much fun. The school just seemed like a great time, and I really hope we get to see more of the school setting throughout the series. This is a long series. I'm pretty sure there's at least 10 books, and I can't wait for all of them. I read this so quickly because I could not put it down because I was so invested in the world and what was going to happen to the characters. So obviously, once again, 5 stars. I have been having a great reading week and reading books from my shelves and having so much fun. Unfortunately, spring break is almost over. It is Friday today, so I still have time to read. So now it is time to spin again. Okay, of course I have my spinner wheel pulled up. Now, we've had a dystopian, we've had a sci-fi, we've had a mystery, and we've had a fantasy. That's fantastic. 4 different genres for 4 different books. So what I really need right now is like a romance or a horror or a thriller. So let's spin the wheel. I need a standalone because all of them have been series so far, and I really hope it's a genre I haven't read yet this week. Let's see, what is it gonna be? Okay. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Okay, hold on. So obviously, the wheel chose The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. First of all, I love the aesthetics of this book. I think it is stunning, but I'm really nervous for this one. What is this classified as? Is this classified as a fantasy? Or is it like a contemporary fantasy? I don't really know. I'm gonna need to figure out. I know we follow a girl named Addie LaRue, and people can't remember her because she made a deal a long time ago, but she's also immortal or something like that. Obviously, I'm gonna read it. It says, "A life no one will remember, a story you will never forget." So I'm intrigued. I've heard fantastic things about this. I've read from V.E. Schwab before, but I've only read her middle grade. So I'm a little nervous going into this one. I also feel like it's not gonna be a quick read, so this might end up being the last book of this video, because it might take me some time to get through this. I feel like it could be a little dense. I'm really nervous, but hopefully I love it just as much as everyone else does. It stormed all morning, which is honestly the perfect ambiance for The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I am now 50% of the way through this, so I'm on page like 221, and in this book we follow this girl named Addie LaRue, and she is originally from France, a very small village in France, and she was born in 1691. So we kind of flip back and forth in these timelines to present day and then all throughout her life leading up to present day, because when she was younger, she was 23 years old, and she was told all her life to make sure if you were praying to the old gods, only pray to those in the daylight, never pray to the ones after dark. One day she accidentally prays to one after dark and she ends up making a deal with him, and now she is kind of cursed for the rest of her life. She is immortal, but nobody will ever remember her. Like, as soon as the door closes or she leaves a room, people forget about her. Until one day in New York City, she meets this guy, and the next day she sees him again, and he remembers her. So, like I said, 50% of the way through, and I got to the point where I was like, I can't tell if I'm bored or if I'm loving this. And I'm bored. I've decided I am bored. The writing in here is stunning and beautiful, but I just don't like beautiful writing because it feels like such like a slog to get through. I feel like I've been reading this book forever and I only started it last night. Let me tell you though, it is beautiful writing. There are some lines in here that I'm like, I could get that as a tattoo. But it just feels like it takes forever to get through, and I just don't know if I find any of these characters interesting enough to really care about what's happening. The part that we just left off halfway through, if you've read it, you know, like I saw it coming. I knew it, like from the moment we met this person, I knew it was gonna happen, but I am gonna still continue it. I just feel like I'm not interested in picking it up. Every time I put it down, I'm like, I don't really want to read that anymore. But I'm still gonna finish it because the other part of me still wants to know what's happening and what's going on and what the ending of this book is going to be like. But I did tell you, as soon as the wheel picked this book, I just didn't think it was gonna be for me, and I'm right, it's not exactly for me, but who knows what's gonna happen in the second half. I just hope it doesn't feel like it's gonna take forever, because right now I feel like I've been reading this for as long as Addie LaRue has been alive, which is not a great feeling. Add this to the list of books people love and I did not. So let me first talk about the things that I did enjoy. There were a few things I enjoyed. One of the things was the historical aspect of this. I don't read a ton of historical fiction, but I love it, and so I loved getting to see that in this book, and the way the timelines were done was really fascinating. And the other thing I enjoyed was getting to visit so many different places and cultures across the world and history, and I loved that. Now, onto the things that I did not like. This is a very character-driven story. I am a very character-driven reader, and I did not care about these characters. Now, I did not hate Addie LaRue, I just didn't care for her. But I did not like Henry, who is the guy in here. Just did not like him, I did not like his friends, and so if it's a character story and I don't care about the characters, I am just going to be so bored. Luckily, I wasn't angry like some books, but this book overall was just so boring to me, and it felt like such a drag to get through, and I think part of that was because, one, I didn't care about the characters, and two, the writing was so dense. Don't get me wrong, there were lines in this book that was like a stab in the heart, and they were so, so good, but I am just not a sucker for beautiful writing because it feels like such a drag to get through, and this was exactly that for me. I will also say, I feel like this book was almost like manipulating the reader to go through a midlife crisis. Like, that's what I got from this book. It feels like it's truly supposed to make you rethink your entire life and change how you go about the rest of your life from here on out, which I don't mind when a book is trying to manipulate your emotions, but it just really felt like you weren't supposed to get anything out of this book other than a midlife crisis. So I gave this one 2 stars, not great, and I will be unhauling it. Also, not a great way to end this vlog. Other than Addie LaRue though, I did have a really great reading week, and I read some fantastic books, and Addie LaRue is trying to escape right now. But I read some fantastic books, and I had such a high rating overall. I think my favorite of the week was probably Keeper of the Lost Cities. I love that book so much, but I did come away with 2 5 stars, which is really great, and I ended up reading 2,131 pages. So over 2,000 pages read this week, and I knocked some chunky books off because every single one of these books, except for Arsenic and Adobo, was over 400 pages. And I got to read so many backlist books that I've owned for so long, so I'm really pleased with that. I honestly want to do this video like once a month because I had so much fun with it, such a great time, and it's such a great way to motivate you to read the books that you own as well, and I just couldn't wait to spin the wheel again. But that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you've made it this far in the video, go ahead and leave the Ferris wheel emoji because it's a type of wheel that spins. But that is it. Thank you so much for watching. As always, all my social media links will be down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye!